The first Star Wars movie in 7 years just released, and it was pretty interesting. And we've seen so many people just blatantly like dissing this movie and calling it horrible, but it's not completely terrible, nor does it deserve all the hate it's actually getting. But before I get into everything that I didn't like or did like, I want to mention one huge thing, and that's that this didn't even feel like an actual movie at all. It felt like half of a season of the Mandalorian TV show. And no, before you think it, this didn't ruin the movie for me, but I thought the movie was over right around the halfway mark. Like, I was fully prepared for the credits to roll, and then the second part started. It just kind of caught me off guard because I was like checking the clock. I'm like, no way, it's been 2 hours already, right? But yeah, it kind of felt like two movies put together and just loosely connected by the Hutt's plot line. Oh, and on top of that, the villain for the entire first half of the movie was some guy named Coin, and I don't want to get into it too much without spoiling the villain for the first half, but I'll put an image on screen to help you imagine what I'm about to say, because the entire time I was watching this movie and I was watching this guy, I could not stop thinking about Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. And I don't know if they even acted remotely similar, like at all, but I could not stop seeing Dr. Evil just because of the way he looked. It really cracked me up, and that was like the first thing I said coming out of the movie to my friend. And after the whole thing with Coin in the first act, Mando ends up getting his guy and he rescues Rada and sends him on his way to live a new life, and that's all over in the first half. Then we have Mando who settles back down at his house, almost like he's waiting for his next mission. Like, it's downtime, he has nothing else to happen. And it was only an hour in and I was fully ready for the credits to roll, not because it was slow or boring, but because it felt like the entire movie just wrapped up. And really quick, this isn't like a big side of the point I just made, but I want to talk about the power scaling because it comes directly back into the scene I was just mentioning, and it's one of the biggest inconsistencies in the entire movie. Like, we see Mando or Pedro Pascal as a completely overpowered killing machine. In some other scenes, we just see him aimlessly walk into a trap like he wasn't even paying attention. And stay with me here, because when Mando settles back in, here comes the real big bad of the entire movie, which to nobody's surprise was the Hutt twins. And they hired a bounty hunter to go capture Mando after taking down Coin and not delivering Rada. And this guy actually looks really cool, I'm not gonna lie. And just based on looks alone, you might think he could handle his own against Mando, but that doesn't change the fact that he takes Mando in so easily. Like, you don't just go from destroying 3 walkers and fighting huge monsters and then get taken down by aimlessly chasing someone into a trap. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense. Oh, and one more thing really quick, while we were talking about Mando, and this isn't like a big dislike, but more of a personal pet peeve, and I'm not gonna lie, it will be dumb to some of you guys, but when he takes off his helmet, he should not have perfectly groomed hair. I'm sorry, like, call this complaint whatever you want, but he lives in the helmet all times. He never takes it off. So how all of a sudden when he takes it off does he have like some perfectly groomed haircut or a perfect hairstyle? It just made me mad for no reason, but it did. Oh, and I will say, even with the inconsistencies, it still does lead me to something I really did like, and that was the Grogu sequence of him taking care of an injured Mando in the woods. And I'm not gonna lie, they were definitely playing into nostalgia here, but I didn't care. I was eating it all the way up. I just loved the slight nod to the swamp scene and how it was Mando and Grogu kind of mirroring Luke and Yoda in episode 5. Plus, it being in a swamp, I was eating it up. I don't know about you guys, I'm pretty sure some people hated it. I don't know. It also showed us that Grogu is not just a baby, he's actually intelligent. He just can't speak like Yoda did yet. So I'm very interested to see them kind of explore that more, because he's not helpless as we've seen before. And I don't know what anyone else thought, but I think the worst performance in this entire movie, which really surprised me and hurt me, was Sigourney Weaver. And I'm not gonna lie, it really felt like she did not want to be a part of this movie at all. And I feel like you could really tell in her performance. Like, I felt like she read the lines flat and didn't add any spice to her roles like she normally does in her movies. Or even easier said, I feel like literally anyone could have played her role and not much would have changed. changed other than the, oh, it's Sigourney Weaver, you know? And it's very unfortunate because I really do love Sigourney Weaver and a lot of her movies. But last but not least, Rada the Hutt. And I don't know about anyone else, to be honest, but he was easily my favorite and the most interesting character in the movie. You can argue with me all day. I'll say one thing I wasn't aware of before watching is that he was voiced by Jeremy Allen White. Didn't sound like him. I'm sure they changed his voice in post with editing.
They realized I'm not my father. I'm my own man, and I'm not afraid to fight for what I have.
But I still loved his performance, even with all the altering or whatever they did. Yes, it could have been anyone, but just knowing it was him, I enjoyed it because I love the bear. So that added some bonus points for sure. Oh, and don't even get me started on his design because I think he looks awesome. By the way, I went into this movie like almost completely blind. I watched the show. I watched the trailer, but I had no idea what the movie was about. I watched like Boba Fett, but who remembers that show anyway? You know, I don't remember what happened with the Hutts in there. And I think they were in there. I know there was Cad Bane. He's badass. And I know I'm ranting here. So let's get back to the actual point of the video, because when I did first see him in the fighting pit, I was like, damn, this guy looks pretty sick. They did not mess it up at all. And I'm just gonna wrap this up because I don't want to waste too much of you guys' time, and I know y'all are all here for one answer and one question only, and that's, was the Mandalorian and Grogu good? And yeah, I think it was pretty good. Is it amazing? No, it's not amazing. I think this movie suffers from a lack of knowing if it wanted to be another season of a TV show or a major blockbuster movie. Like, they could have made the lines more clear there, because it felt like 2 episodes of the show. I rated on Letterboxd. Go check the Letterboxd out in the description if you want to see what I watch out of videos, or if you just want to see if I like movies that you guys like. But yeah, it feels like a wannabe 4th season of the Mandalorian TV show, and sometimes that works really well. In other situations, it doesn't work at all. But at the same time, I still enjoyed the movie, and the choreography and soundtrack were probably the best things about this movie, like the fighting and the music. If you enjoy those 2 things, you'll love it. But honestly, if anything, I just don't think this was the big return to Star Wars that a lot of people were hoping for or expecting. So they kind of went in and got their hopes let down. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a sub. Stick around, because most importantly, we talk about stuff like this all the time. And as always, stay curious and keep the conversation going.